Hello, hello, Passionaire. Good to have all of you here on a Thursday night. Passionaires are those who love what they do and do very well for lifetime. Welcome on board. If you are with us on Mighty Network, you're already part of a big family. If you've never done anything PQ related, PQ means passion quotient. Just like IQ is measuring intelligence quotient to put a tag, a number with it. Then EQ, emotion quotient, that measure how you respond emotionally. PQ, I believe, is the third wave right now to get all of us on a very interesting journey together, is to see how we are motivated. This is really come from motivation science, as well as hours, thousands of hours of one-on-one coaching and training. So it's a combination of many disciplines that I believe that's really lead us to where we are right now. So I love to talk about this because it changed my life. I was trained as a scientist, as a technologist. Yet, when I start to see like human motivation, there's a chance to kind of peek into the door and see how we are motivated. I'm so excited. Tonight, passionate out there, this is one very important topic, especially in a relationship. It's a passion, it's a motivation, it's something that really drives everybody that we don't talk about. We kind of know it, nobody just sit down and analyze it. It's something like really deal with you on a daily basis. It's something called acceptance. So it's we have this, it's like a daily conversation, like, oh, that person is so sensitive. Hey, my boyfriend is too touchy. And with, oh, my girlfriend, she's sensitive. Okay, all this is, I almost watch it play on daily basis. Even on professional level, it is real thing. So today we are focused on relationship. So as I started the question tonight, it will be an open Q&A session for everybody. You can dial on YouTube. We hope if somebody monitor it, or you can come into our live Zoom session. You don't have to show your face here on this Q&A. You can just type your question away or just say, verbalize it without showing your face. I'll make everybody feel comfortable, but I want your question, and you don't have to show face. You don't have to type your name, but I want to see the question, because this is really, I've coached thousands of people one-on-one. A lot of them regarding relationship, where this one particular point, the motivation thing is really very interesting, to a point. If you are able to know a little bit more tonight, it could just bring a breakthrough in your relationship with someone. So it could help you make every decision that you will not regret down the road. It's so crucial. It's even down to the point, as I say, professional level. If you look at like NBA, professional basketball, talk to some of the coaches there, they will tell you this, like they have to make a big change, because the younger player right now they recruit, regardless if they just come from high school directly or they play in college a couple years, there's a trend. It's not they bounce higher, they shoot more three-pointer, or they have different play style. It's basically their psychology is different. They are more sensitive, or they need a lot more maintenance and talking encouragement for them to keep at their peak performance. So they could be very good at one game, but then next game could just collapse, because it's not because they shoot more three-pointers. If you guys know what that means, take more risk. It's because they have an antenna in their head. It will be tuned into something. If they are not trained well, it can be tuned into the wrong thing. Could be just in the locker room, somebody say something. It can bring their performance down completely, or not motivate to come out to practice next day. So they become very touchy feeling type of player. Now, the old school coaches are not trained this way. When they were a younger player, There's no emotion. They just go play. It's like a job. Go play. So to really bring these two camps together, one is higher sensitivity, that these younger players, they could really, really break the mold of previous generation by their eagerness to please people, to show off their skill, to be in a place where they can really excel on stage. They are high performer, yet their performance is just fluctuate up and down. Does that sound like your relationship? One day could be so good, next day is like not even show up in the locker room. So like, wow. So if you hear some of the traditional coaches, they always talk about this transformation they have to go through right now to coach today's young men. Some of them don't want to change, but toward the end of the day, they say, well, this is what it is. So they got to have a lot of coaching styles, and some of the oldest coaches talk about this all the time, about that today's players are not as tough as they are, but they have to change their coaching technique and style and the way they communicate to be able to encourage and bring up this young man into their plays. All right. Ooh, am I floating in the sky? Really? Okay. All right. So today is going to talk about this sensitivity. It's something we have a word for it. It's called acceptance passion. I'm going to bring that up. So it's basically called acceptance. It's everybody has an antenna to measure the things, the word expression outside from the outside. And then the inside antenna are going to resonate and clean on something that's said, that expressed, or not expressed a lot of times. that's the troublesome. Like, if you don't say this in this occasion, well, you hit the wrong button. There could be the whole week of trauma. Anybody with me on that one? And acceptance is something, an inside antenna to try to gauge how I am doing from outside perspective, almost like a mirror inside. And that mirror sometimes is very clear, real. That's good. That means whatever that person senses is real. But as your sensitivity go higher and higher, based on life experiences and past history, this mirror can be muddy, can be dirty, can sometimes even twist it, and to a point that this mirror can no longer reflect the reality outside. Sometimes getting further down to the road, the mirror become a twisted reality, how the person interpret the outside world. So this is very deep talk, but based on this, maybe the takeaway from this is everybody, even dogs and cats. That's why you have the dog personality, the cat personality. Even cat, people say cat personality and dog personality, they all have different sensitivities inside. And when you put two persons together, say, in a relationship, the differences between the sensitivity, it's really a base of trouble, or a base of live happily together. Could be good, could going bad, could going good. It depends on really where you two are. So this sensitivity is used to be just he's sensitive, she's sensitive. Now we have a way to measure it. So without that, if you don't have that number with you, that's okay. But today's topic is, I want to push a little bit further. It's in a relationship. Today's topic is very, very, very straightforward. Like, say you want to commit to a long-term relationship with somebody, okay? Not just friends, not just brothers and sisters. Say a long-term relationship, okay? Long-term marriage, and really want to spend lifetime together. As I said, passionate are those who love what they do genuinely and do it well for life. So say relationship, finally you decide to walk into something. You want to really have a lifelong journey with the other person. Do you prefer someone more sensitive than you are, or less sensitive than you are? Let me just explore a little bit. if you said I would prefer someone more sensitive than I am, basically you are saying that you will prefer to have someone all your life to be able to have a antenna, a meter inside inside that person, and to be able to measure, sometimes react to outside, even you and around the world. And are you willing to deal with that result of that antenna or the meter inside a person? The other way around, that's too much of a hassle. If you say the hassle, you don't go there. But you say, well, the good part about that is maybe that person can take you to another level of life, show you how a sensitive person can perceive the world. That's why a lot of people with low sensitivity love to fall in love with high sensitivity others, because they lead them into a new world. They can talk until midnight, talk about movie, talk about this song, talk about their history, talk about the past, talk about things, wow, that's that. That's high sensitivity. Once you really break through their nutshell from outside, look cool, reserved, when they start become that, feel comfortable, they can open up, really lead you to another level of how this world is operating. That's wonderful experiences. So, but the other way around would be, I'm tired of highly sensitive people around me. Look at my mom, look at my dad, look at my dog, sometimes too sensitive, so too needy. My dog, I wish, if you are that person, you probably come to a place and say, oh, I'm done with this high sensitivity lifestyle. I want to marry somebody less sensitive than I am, so I can be me, be the sensitive one. Let that person, let him deal with it. Okay, I have no idea. Okay, so so this is today's question. Would you rather be with someone more sensitive or less sensitive? So it could be, today we talk about relationship, but that's applied to a boss and employee situation. Like, do you prefer to have a more sensitive boss or less sensitive boss? Now, that's a big issue at workplace. A lot of people just suffer big time on that because they don't know how to deal with this kind of difference in sensitivity. It could be parents, mom and daughter, very highly sensitive daughter have a very low sensitivity mom. Wow, that's what the couple there. Woohoo! All right, and so we could go everywhere. I have this scenario. So I like, we have a couple of coaches online. If you're on YouTube, I don't know whether we have people monitor it. So I like you don't have to, we won't get your face on. You can type question or you can give us your argument. Just unmute yourself. So let us know, what do you think? Would you be with someone more sensitive, or you would like to be with someone less sensitive? Let's say a longer relationship, say a boy-girlfriend relationship that will possibly lead to marriage, for example, or a career, or you are at a workplace, whatever, So anybody out there? So I'll take a cup of tea and let you guys take it away. Well, nobody.
I was going to say.
Oh, Henry, you are really flowing on the sky. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, I'm a talking head tonight.
Okay, talking head, Henry. Go ahead.
So I was gonna say I have been married to my wife Lisa for over 30 years, and my sensitivity level is about 0.2 on the scale of +2 to -2. So I'm just about in the middle, and she is a lot higher than I am. And I find most of the time that works out well. Every once in a while it gets to be too much, but for the most part, I think that she is very sensitive. If we have arguments and she feels like she's wrong, she's quick to apologize. And it has made for a good relationship because we don't stay angry with each other for long, which I think is a good principle that we find in the Bible too.
All right.
So that's a plus side to it. I think something that I'd like to hear you talk about in terms of relationships like this, and maybe in terms of the sensitivity. There's an argument that goes on sometimes between people who feel like there is only one specific person that you could marry and be perfectly happy with, or the other side, that there are a lot of different possibilities for someone you could marry, and you have to just take a look at the possibilities based on how compatible you are. So I'll leave that one for whenever you feel like you could answer it.
Hey, okay, we'll get Henry. How many years have you been married as a couple, Henry? Unmute yourself.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up a little bit there.
Yeah, how many years have you been married?
We have been married now 30 years.
30 years, all right.
Yes.
Now, so folks out there, so I'm going to use a 30-year marriage as example. Okay, at the beginning, before you guys got married, did you discover your wife to be very sensitive?
Yes, I would say I did.
Without a PQ, without any motivation signs. Okay, tell us those, what makes you think that she's sensitive? Go ahead. All the people out there, okay, this is before marriage. Okay, you don't need a PQ or a motivation science test to tell you. So, but I want you to give us like.
So she always had a very, and still does, especially now, even more so. She has a very keen sense of people, of kind of what makes them tick, I guess you would say. She's very intuitive about other people, and so you can tell that she's sensitive, and she picks up on what they're feeling and what they're thinking. I would say I was kind of clueless about those kind of things, and insensitive in some ways. So I learned a lot from her about how she perceives other people, and you could tell from that she was she's very sensitive.
All right, so you already know this girl, before you got married 30-40 years ago, she has a keen sense about how people's reaction and perspective, right? So what was her response? That did you observe her, or just you are so insensitive you don't even care?
No, I did care. I observed
you
her.
did. So hold on. So that's why when you do care, folks out there, especially men, and that if you find a sensitive girl, you will feel like, wow. But if you still can observe that she's sensitive, you're okay. That means when you step into the long-term relationship, you will be fine, because I have seen the difference so big. The insensitive side never discovered that. Like, what are you talking about? They have no clue. If that's the case, they need coaching, they need help. So Henry, you did kind of know like what you are stepping into, right?
Yes, I did.
Good. So there must be incidents just when you were together, even before dating, that you could observe this girl as sensitive, right? You could observe that. You could say that.
Yes, I could say that. Yes.
So folks, that's a very good first lesson, is if you are able to observe possibly the differences, possibly, that's a good start. If you come in and say, Coach K, I have no clue, I would advise you to take a deep look into this, because the difference might be too big for you two to be together, because you don't even realize there is a difference. Okay, thank you, Henry. Just one more question. 30 years after marriage, so sensitivity is no more an issue, right? It becomes something you two work together. Does that make
Pretty
sense?
much. I mean, there are times when it gets to be too much, and I may push back a little bit sometimes. If you know, you have normal disagreements and things like that, and so the sensitivity can ramp up disagreements, and so sometimes, sometimes I will press back, but most of the time, I let things roll off my back, and don't take a lot of things to heart.
All right, so very good. See, folks, even have a sensitive relationship. It could be good, 30-year of marriage, but the second thing I want to bring here is final thing with talking head Henry. Okay. How long you been dating before you and your wife got married?
Well, we were friends more than dating, in the same church for 10 years, actually, and very close for about 7 of that before we finally got married.
So you were officially dating for how long?
I'm probably officially dating, I would say, about 2 years.
But we're in a church group as a friend group
As
for
friends,
how long?
yeah, for about
8 years,
8
right?
years before that.
Okay. Now I'll let Henry drop off the spotlight. Thank you, Henry. Now, folks, the second thing about high sensitivity relationship, if one is highly sensitive, is that it will take a lot longer. So for a sensitive person to really, really get into a committed relationship, it could go 2 ways. The first is go very quick. They just commit right away, okay? But that usually does not happen. 90% of chance is they will gauge and engage and disengage, disengage, watch you, observe you very carefully. So oftentimes the relationship could go on for years, all right, years. So you cannot push a high sensitivity people to do something. But that's not a bad thing. It's so the time, the tempo, the pace is sometimes is dictated by sensitive person. If that person wants faster or slower in the relationship, it oftentimes the pace is dictated by this more sensitive person. You have to understand this. That's a reality statistic. So if you are married a more sensitive person, the negotiation, the coming together, or make a decision where to go vacation sometimes could take forever because the sensitive person may have not come to a right mind, the right scenario to make that decision. All right. But could go the other way around, but this is usually the case. So timeline, if you are going to marry someone more sensitive to you, oftentimes will drag a little bit along with that person's pace. All right. Any other? Okay, very good. Thank you, Henry. Any other questions? Okay, I have questions here. It's from the friend. The person says, I am high accepts. Okay, Joyce, why don't you read the question so I can take a sip of tea?
Okay.
I'm dry today. Go ahead.
This friend said 2 questions. If I'm high acceptance, how do I still show my love and support for my significant other without becoming their counselor? Another question from them: how do I tell my significant other about themselves without hurting their feelings?
These 2 are great questions. The first one is something I just about to mention. Okay. Oftentimes, high sensitivity person, they tend to be the antenna in a relationship. So no, it's very. Let me put it this way. Let me clear this out. The high acceptance people in a relationship, person in a relationship, could do 2 things. Number one could be the antenna to sense the outside world and get a lot of feedback every day on daily basis. Not necessary to be a information collector, but could easily be like gauge other people's feedback. Okay, even some ridiculous Instagram posts from other friends. So it will get a lot of information from that person, but that person with high sensitivity may not tell you exactly what that is. So, so this question is, I am high acceptance. How do I still show my love and support for my significant other without becoming their counsel? Now, this question are two parts. Number one, how high acceptance people show love and support. It's a very mysterious thing still to me. All the high acceptance people, I love you. It's a mysterious thing because because of their high acceptance, the way they show it usually is not steady. It's never boring. It's adventurous. It's based on their sensitivity meter. So you could just get a hot, wet kiss, like, oh, welcome home. But next day, you may just like get into the cold freezer and depend on not their emotion, but how they sense stuff. So, and for the high acceptance people, if you want to show your love, as I said before, love is never just your emotion, like how your heart feels. Love is a sequence of decisions that you make on your mind level. Like, I want to show my love through my decisions. So high sensitivity people, you are motivated by approvals and feedback from outside. So you can really get positive feedback to do it more, or negative feedback to never do it again. But if you swing too much from these two, based on outside world, it will hinder your decision to love. That's why for high sensitive people to really make a lifelong decision, that's what we have all the romantic movie, romance movie. That's exactly what that is. This is high sensitive people are doing their part for this world to make it more versatile and romantic and sensitive and more storyline. Yes, yes, and yes. And sometimes they view low sensitivity people kind of boring, like a stone, like not enough response. Like, what are you doing? I already give you so much hint, so many hints. Where is your heart? No. So for high sensitivity people, I love you, but in your way, you have to make up your mind to make a sequence of decision to show your love. And the if your love, your support varies from your sensitivity meter, that your love goes to sensitivity meter, that's usually is a very tough scenario for the other one, significant other, to really know where you are. They don't know where they get into. After a while, it will be a very tough scenario to have you two synchronize, to know exactly, where you are. So that's number one. So the number one question is, please, high sensitivity people, for you to show love, don't flow with your sensitivity meter to show love. Make decision to show love and show that bottom love every day. And on top of that, use sensitivity to spice it up. Okay. For example, you can make a decision to give the other one a big smile every day, regardless how you feel. A big smile. But on top of that big smile, then you can throw something from sensitivity. Hey, today I really look at the flower. Spring is here. Wonderful. Your mom just called and she says something. I'm not very happy. But you still start with a decision making to say, I'm going to have a big smile every day. But you can go the other way. I'm going to give a big, shock look. I have no idea. But you have to be consistent. Start making decisions every day as a foundation for your support and love. And then spice it up with your sensitivity. Make it like decoration, the touch on the cake, the icing on the cake a little bit. So let your sensitivity become something, make it even better, even more presentable. So using sensitivity to present it the way, okay, but a fundamental love out of a decision never change, have a baseline of love. That's what I'm trying to say. You must establish a baseline of love every day to show it, okay? Very important. And without becoming a counselor, folks, high sensitivity people usually not going to be a counselor. The counselor in a marriage usually come from low sensitivity people. Okay, like me and my wife Xiaowei, right? My sensitivity is minus. We are both low sensitivity, but she's lower than mine, a little bit lower. Guess what? When Coach K run into life problem, who do I go to? My wife. I'm not seeking for like, oh, I understand you. That's not counselor. I love you. I can feel how you feel. I don't need that. I just want to talk to a lower sensitivity person like my wife. She's going to speak up her mind. I feel so comfort in that, the confidence. Okay, so you can find the low sensitive people in your friend group. Always get tons of people talk to low acceptance person, because the high sensitivity world is so volatile. they can't be stable. Sorry guys, if high sensitivity, I love you. You have to trust me. I coach so many high sensitivity people. They are wonderful people, but their world is a world of too much excitement. Okay, so they actually sometimes to ground themselves a little bit with low sensitivity people, just to feel like the ground is stable. All right. So all right, Joyce raises her hand. Go ahead, Joyce.
I'm gonna excuse me, ask a follow-up question for the person that asked the first two. This person, I don't know where their family passion score would be right now, but as a coach, I suspect that it would be high. And the dynamic this person has with just people, and I would say with men as well, is that they get used to her being in that kind of that listener type of role. So when she doesn't want to be outside of that, or if she's just not, she really doesn't have the energy for it, it's hard for her to stop, like put a pause to it. With higher acceptance and higher family, would you say some other kind of advice for that?
So Joyce, let me make this right. The person is high acceptance, right? And she always get placed in a position in a family or friend circle to be the listener because she understands. Correct?
Yes.
All right. And then she doesn't want to be in that position anymore.
Not all the time.
Not all the time. And so her question is, she wants to get out of that counselor role in her family or friends group, basically.
Yeah, I think sometimes she just wants to be a friend and not any other expectation in that friendship or any kind of relationship.
Okay. See, this person, when she said she is placed in that position called counselor, anybody, you are the family counselor, like every one of your family members come to you for counseling. Oh, wow. That's a top position. Or you are in a friend circle, every friend just come to you and say, oh, you understand me. Well, you know what? Number one, they have to pay you. No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
And that's time. Sometimes just 5 hours go by. It's like, listen now. The people are confused. People think we need a listener. No, we don't need a listener. This is where the sensitivity comes in, because a lot of people with high sensitivity, if they don't manage it, they are, by talking to you, treating you as a counselor, they want to hear their own voice. they want to hear their own voice. Yeah, they want to hear their own sensitivity talking, because the listener is not enough. They want that voice to be accepted, not even by you as a friend, accepted by themselves. So the bottom line in the unmanaged sensitivity issue is they keep talking. They want somebody to agree with them, to approve their thinking. But that person, even though spend 5 hours, is just simply not enough. Because that person has to start facing the reality that she or he is highly sensitive and he had to manage the self-esteem. There's something in the past. There's something in the history. There's something that person has done in the past that he or she may not share with you. So, but that need to be retold to create a new narrative so that person can change that reality inside that person's life. That means 5 hours of listening simply not going to cut it. It will put a patch on that person's feeling for a day, but I bet depending on sensitivity, he or she will come back again, because basically she has to listen to herself or himself and say, man, I have to accept myself. I have to finally face myself. This is who I am. I'm going to move on to tell about my feeling. I have to move on to the next phase of my life. I almost have to say, I have to grow up. Now, this is high sensitivity society. Listen to this. You probably turn off my channel right away because you feel like Coach K is a mean and crazy, man. But no, I'm saying the truth, because the high sensitivity people, the whole conversation is about my feeling, how I feel, how I do this. You will hear I. So the sensitivity has a word in the middle is I. If that person can get over that I inside, that person can never be able to get a counselor to change that lifestyle or change that person's life. So in that sense, this is a no land for any relationship. Okay, guys and girls out there, if it's somebody that's every time conversation is about I, no matter how they present it, if that's the case, duck out of that relationship. Not going to happen. Get out, because that person needs somebody almost a lifetime to learn how to get out the I in the sensitivity. You see SENSI, is I in there, 3 I actually. So yeah, so in a way, this person, I don't know how to help you, but then another situation, be very careful. This is called deep calling deep. A high sensitivity person may need another high sensitivity person with lower self-esteem to make the first person feel better. Let me say that one more time. So if you love to be a counselor, be very careful. It may be because your self-esteem is a little bit higher than the person seeking your counsel. That make you feel better. That feeding into your sensitivity. If you need that kind of lifestyle to pump yourself up, you got to change too. That means you are sensitive. Your sensitivity is not managed. So in that case, you must learn how to say no to those situations. If you cannot say no, and if you are afraid of confrontation, you got a problem. I got a problem. Because if a person cannot say no or face confrontation, usually it's a sign of unmanaged high sensitivity, because that person never want to be rejected by anything, never want to get people feel rejected. And that person's life will always flow with other people's feedback and then lose her or himself right there. Okay. So this person, if you want to get out of the counselor position, I think you are waking up. You are waking up right now. You don't need this kind of, I'm a little bit better than you. Let's all come together, feel good together. No, you don't need that. This type of feel good together is a very modern therapeutic stuff that's going to self-loop, never work. If you get a bunch of low self-esteem people together, nothing going to happen. Nothing going to. Now, I'm not looking down on self-esteem people. I'm trying to just give you a thing we coached that you cannot use a group therapy just to present each other's I, and never touch the fundamental issue is a person's sensitivity need to be managed. Okay, need to be managed. That means you have to jump out of the I. Start to think about other people. Start to serve other people. Start to really, jump out of the sensitivity quadrant. Go to, beauty. Go to, this is a passion language. Go to other passions. Go to other cylinder. Start to live out yourself. And you got to get out of the pit of sensitivity. You cannot always initiate the motivation through like whether your self-esteem is satisfied or not. You have to get out of that department and start to go exercise, go beauty, go curiosity, go practical thinking, go idealism. You can go many other aspects who can help you out to start to get out of the pit of self-pity, self-sensitivity. If you get out, you will come back. You will find yourself. Okay. Thank you, Joyce. Any
Thank
other?
you.
Okay. Any other question here? I see another one. How do I tell my significant other about themselves without hurting their feelings? That's a good question.
That was from the same friend, so you might need to spotlight me again.
Okay, let me stop by. Okay, here we go. So elaborate on that question. Yeah.
So
how do I tell my, yeah, go ahead.
Basically, this person, if they notice a problem with, basically if they notice an issue with a person who's talking to them, they want their power passion to come up and just tell them as it is, but they struggle with that sometimes because they don't want to offend them, which could cause that individual to not go to them the next time.
Yeah, so basically when you talk to a person higher sensitivity than yours, so, so this person who asked this question must be high sensitivity too, right? Because for low sensitivity people, they just say what they want to say, right? That's not best practice, but they probably just say anyway. Let other people to deal with the aftermath, the work, the feeling. So this possibly be a too high sensitive people do a tango dance. Oh, that's a wonderful movie to plot along. It's like two highly sensitive people dance together. Oh boy. Now that's a very tough scenario. Now, based on my statistics, the couple I coach, if they're both are high sensitive, number one, it takes forever for them to get married. Number one. Number two, when they get married, it takes forever to get out of this too high. So that means two artists marry each other. So that's why I look at Hollywood actor and actress. When they got married, what's the average marriage in Hollywood? How many years? You can check it out. Short, right? Or you say because they have this vanity, they have, no, because actor, actress are default highly sensitive person to get into that career. So two highly sensitive, like, a theater player or actor, actress, when they get together, well, some of them have long-lasting marriage. Okay, so this is statistic. I just want to show you. So if you have two sensitive people together in one household, that's where drama starts. Okay, that's where. So we need. That's almost. We have a system to help it out, but people, it's not about communication, folks. You may not want to listen to this, but people say we can train our communication skill. My answer is communication skill is just for a day, but high sensitivity people want to have a being to being talk. It's transcending communication skill. It must have a heart to heart talk. That cannot be trained. That need to have a system, need to have a safe boundary. You need to have practice. And then so that the heart to heart communication is a constant, not every day, but constant as a base. So if you think you can communicate skillfully, so the high sensitivity people will be okay, you are wrong, because it's more than skill. Their sensitivity comes from their deep feeling inside. You have to satisfy that one, which usually a lot of time nobody can satisfy that every day. So you almost have the heart-to-heart talk with them. And how to get to the heart-to-heart talk is very difficult because they can just get, turned on with some, maybe just a facial expression. Like you're supposed to laugh, you didn't laugh. That's sensitivity. People will say, what? You must be, have some problem with me. So the heart-to-heart, being-to-being talk is very, very crucial. Now, so that's why I would say, I give you some very constructive suggestion. Number one, create a no pressure zone every day in your relationship. No pressure zone means don't touch sensitivity. Don't touch the hot button. A lot of people love to talk. Sit down. Let's resolve this. Talk. Please talk to me. If you talk to me, I'll be fine. Wrong. If I talk to you, it will be worse. Okay, because the sensitivity start to crank up and not. So it's not all talk, folks. Get rid of this. If we talk, things will be fine. No. But create a no pressure zone. For example, if you two love to eat, go eat constantly. Create that in that lunchtime or something. Don't talk about sensitive issues. Talk about stuff that just get both of you up there. No pressure zone. You have to really do this, like become a lifestyle of you two. All right. So if you're a lawyer, create some hobby with your wife or your husband that you could create a no pressure zone. It's a quality time. It's not how much time you spend with each other. It doesn't matter how much time you spend with each other. It's a quality time. The quality time for high sensitivity people is a no pressure zone. They can be themselves. They don't have to antenna go up, send stuff. Okay. They can be there, just be themselves. If you are able to create that zone in your relationship, that's the first anchor point. All right. It's a zone like could be taking a walk, take the dog for a walk. Could be go do garden job together. Could be sometimes like my wife and I watch a movie together, right? Anything you do, just have something constantly there. And Christians say, let's pray together. Shut up. Okay. A lot of people pray together and sensitivity go crank up. They start to accuse each other through their prayer. I've seen that and throw the scripture to each other. Don't do this religious stuff, okay? Do something you two as a human being enjoy each other and no pressure. Both like it, okay? Could be exercise. So be creative here. Be creative. Come on, guys. You know, so you got to have a same non-pressure zone. This work in the parenting as well. Work in the workplace. Create a no pressure zone so your folks can relax. This is very, very important. If you do that, it's a very first step. All right, next step. Once you have a no pressure zone, you got to be there and commit to it for a long time. Depending on the person's sensitivity, sometimes take 6 months for that person to feel comfortable. Start to tell you their heart. And that will become the being-to-being talk. Because every time they come in, they are unassuming. The antenna is not going to pop up. They're going to gauge what they come in, we are habitual beings. So habitual things. So that's why we say we spend more time in the family. Yes, but spend quality time, please. It's not just home. You know, your mind somewhere else. The quality time is a no pressure zone. Like I am with you. I'm not focused on you, but I'm with you. I'm here. So that's very, very crucial. So hopefully, we're a couple of little things in the sleep. So ask more questions, because as you ask more, things will come out. So Joyce, to this person, I hope to give you the no pressure zone. Set up the no pressure zone, especially in the husband-wife scenario. That's very crucial. You almost have to do it minimally once a week. That's kind of maintenance mode. I can do it every other day, sit down, talk. Like my wife and I, we usually do just take a walk in Princeton downtown together. No pressure zone, because I could be quiet for 30 minutes walking and Xiaobei not going to question like, are you in bad mood? I don't like that. Are you in a bad mood? Don't shut up. Let me be quiet. And once I quiet for 30 minutes, I'll be fine, because my independence passion started kicking. So you let that person be that person. Just be together. Just be together. A no pressure zone. Okay, create that. So before you become a boy and a girlfriend, or throughout the first 7 months or 8 months of relationship, you have to start to create that no pressure zone, become habitual thing for you and your significant other to consider next step. You can never establish one. Every 3 months, that zone get disturbed. You have to start to think, is that really worth going on? Okay, because if you can't find a no pressure zone in 7 months or a year, you have to start thinking, maybe we will never find a unpressure zone, no pressure zone. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Any other question? Oh, there's another one. All right. Okay. So if you are highly sensitive, a person just said sensitivity was 1.8, very high. Okay, the maximum score is 2. 1.8 is globally benchmarked against data from Europe, from North America, from Asia. So it's the global data 1.8. That one is very, very high. That means, yes, you are probably dominated by sensitivity. It's not a bad thing, folks. A lot of people I know are highly sensitive, still functional. So it's possible and have very good relationship as well. It's tougher, but it doesn't mean it's impossible, all right? My management now is decreased to 0.7. What is a good range of acceptance? That's a very good question. So what is a good range? What is a good acceptance level? This one is that 2 level of answers. Number 1, on the average normal level, a person, if the acceptance are 0.5, when that means a little bit above average, usually is a very good acceptance to be a counselor, to be a listener, to be helping others to understand their feelings. So in a group, if you have somebody with that kind of acceptance, is always good. And I always go to that person asking her or his opinion, because that's my good antenna. That's my sensitive antenna still functioning, but not 2.0. Like everybody say something, I'll get like, when I'm in a company or corporate, I hate to work with 2.0 accepting people, because every little feedback from clients and teammates, I'll hear it. Every little thing, that we have to chase our tail to become another company to please everybody. So put 2.0, 1.8 is basically pleasing everybody, including your dog, your cat, your pet, including Instagram, including everything you go. After a while, you get tired. Everybody will look at you and say, yeah, we like you, but we don't know who you are, because you are everybody. You are. So that's too much. Okay. Now 1.0 is kind of in the middle. That's usually good for performers, for athletes, for artists. It's above average a little bit. You have to use sensitivity to be your career. That means you'll be sensitive every day. So don't turn that sensitivity toward your spouse, your kids. Turn that toward your client. Turn that toward your craft. Turn that toward your career. You just be sensitive. Your presentation, the way you make music, the way you prepare yourself, the way you put up your dress to go to work. You can focus on that instead of focus on the one you love at home. And then you have an outlet for your sensitivity. That's wonderful. Those people could be a very good salesman, could be a very good performer on stage. Wonderful. Now, so your acceptance 2.7, I strongly recommend you do it about 0.5. Okay, that's a lot of change. 0.5 means you are sensitive enough to listen, but not to react. Let me do that again. So this is a wonderful state of sensitivity. Hear me out, okay? You are able to listen, understand, but you are not, you have still the control to react or not to react. So, and that means you start to understand people's feeling, you start to pick up signals, but 0.5 means you hold on to that free will to react or not to react. Okay. So that means counselor at 0.5 means you are counseling people. You hear a very tough case, say a family abusive behavior session. You come out, you're really touched by the client's, situation, and you are with that, the client's heart. But when you go home, you have to forget about this client. You cannot bring that client's case home. That means you are 0.5, but you don't react. Your heart is not programmed to react. So when you go home, you will not make comment like, look, you are just like my client's husband. You are insensitive. Okay, that come out, you are 1.0. You bring sensitivity home. You bring that memory home. You bring your meter home. So 0.5 is like you are able to manage your meter. You still have a meter, but you don't react. You don't dance with. You are able to control that. That's very important to be 0.5. Okay. Now, so if you, now, most of people were born high sensitive baby. Few baby born is like, not sensitive to heat or cold. If the baby feel too hot, baby just right, too cold, they just yay, they are hungry, express their feeling. So they are not able to control their meter, they just react, right? So as we grow in every development cycle of our life, the terrible two, the preteen, the teenage, and all this different development cycle, we're supposed to start to manage our sensitivity and start to learn how to independently try to manage that. If we don't learn that, sometimes we'll become prince and princess when they are still in there. They are going to their 20s. Too sensitive prince and princess are over in the society, folks. So that need to be also managed as well. When I say that, not in a negative tone, this is exactly what's happening. So yeah, so for this person, I would definitely think 0.5, that you have the meter. Say you could be a lawyer, you could be a doctor, you could be a teacher. With 0.5 means you are able to listen to your teacher, your client, your patient's feeling. You get that up, but it will not bring that home. It's not making you a professional. It's because you are able to manage that meter. You are going to have that feeling, understand it, but never become a part of you to react. Okay, so that's very crucial. Another question is about my teenage son, David, who has a negative acceptance of point. Okay, hey, I like David. Minus 0.5 is more like me. Sometimes I hope he can be more sensitive and also observe the surrounding. This is mom. I assume this is mom. Hey, mom. Hey, dear mom out there. You don't know how blessed you are. If your David is minus 0.5, how much I have to deal with a highly sensitive boys today in the society every day. Hey, I know he may not be able to appreciate what you do and all that, but I would so, okay, let me explain minus 0.5 acceptance. Folks, if you don't have PQ, that's okay. This is just a number, okay? So this mom out there, I think you are probably high sensitivity mom. I bet when you say that, your sensitivity must be higher. So you wish your boy can dance with you in terms of observing the world. I understand. But can I assure you one thing? Please keep David that way, please. Because most of the teenage boys I coach, and actually college boys, are highly sensitive. A lot of them really, really suffer from this. So if David starts from this, I think a pretty good start. Okay. And don't change him. Don't change him, please. Mom, please don't change him. Let David be David. All right. Let David be this kind of insensitive boy. Fine. Okay. I don't want him to observe so much. Let him have power, have some other passion to start to be himself. He will pick up this when he has a girlfriend. Don't worry about it. Most likely, he will have a high sensitivity girlfriend like you. Then he's going to come back and say, Mom, help me to understand this girl. So don't grow him right now on the sensitivity, because this is a blessing, Mom. Let me assure you, because this boy going to be fine. With this particular one, he will have more energy, more bandwidth to focus on other side of himself, to develop himself, focus on his own feeling. This is a great position to start with. All right. You are very fortunate. Okay. Don't change it a bit, please. Now, if David cannot understand you, hold on to your feeling, mother, please. One day he will grow, he will understand you. Maybe that day is when he holding his own baby. So you have to be patient. I understand, please. All right, you are blessed. Don't change. I don't want another highly sensitive boy that I have to coach, please. I really, really, I love all high sensitive people out there. Don't take me wrong. I love you guys, but because I work with you so much for so long, I think I'm qualified to say this out of love, out of really my experience, to hopefully give you a hope that this is not where you really want to be all your life. All right. Now, next one. All right, Casey, you want to say something, because your question is a little bit Casey, you want to be highlighted and say something, because Casey's question is definitely interesting, because
Which one? Which question?
up to you, because both question. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll just go with the first one. Okay, so yeah, we've been talking a lot about how to help like basically it sounds like high acceptance people are often the problem in the relationship. Like so I understand on the high acceptance side how you can help them to manage and how they should be managing their acceptance, but what about from the other side, like when someone's really low acceptance and they don't notice things that maybe their partner would like for them to notice? Is there a way that low acceptance people can learn to be a little bit more high acceptance, or should they learn to be more high acceptance?
Yeah, the answer will shock all of you. Okay, the low acceptance people, they are help. I'm not trying to give them a pass because I'm low acceptance. I was a very high acceptance boy. I learned my lesson to be low, but low acceptance people, there's no hope for them to change. Put it this way, when they get to the low acceptance, they are so comfortable there, they don't want to change. Does that make sense? Let me try that one more time. The low acceptance people, if you want to change them, it's actually harder than change high acceptance people, because that position for them is either naturally there or they learn for years to be there. It's hard for you to pull them out of that position. So in other words, that position is hard learned, earned. So for them to give that up, it's a very difficult task. So in the marriage, I always find high acceptance spouse want to change low acceptance spouse. And the two at the end both give up. So how do I describe this? This is like, we will think we should be fair in this society, right? High acceptance come down, low acceptance go up. That's the ideal case. But for low acceptance people to come up, it's a tough call, folks. It's you could try. Okay, but I'll give you a couple of nuggets of hope. Number one, this need to be communicated before marriage. Let me try one more time. Once you get married, there's no chance. Okay, so this has to be communicated ahead of a commitment. Is that the high acceptance people need to say what is a comfort level for the high acceptance people to meet the low acceptance people. Not change him or her, but express the middle point. What is the comfortable midpoint that both can meet there? It doesn't mean change him or her, but let's have a place to meet. Does that make sense? Now, and that's very crucial to communicate and practice that in the no pressure zone. Okay, so low acceptance people cannot go to low pressure zone, just watch his NBA game on the cell phone and call it a, private time. Shut up, you cannot do that. You come in, get rid of your cell phone and sit down. Maybe that's your middle ground. You don't have to focus on me, but you don't bring your cell phone. See that needs to be communicated practically. Okay. For example, let's talk about money. High acceptance people, low acceptance people talk about money, it will be very funky situation because both have a different need. So where both can meet, that need to talk about how to manage time, how to manage talent, job, who is going to follow, which career go first. All that to be communicated under the acceptance that can meet in the middle. But once you meet that person there, that person will bounce back to low acceptance. Okay. Now you say, I'm high acceptance, can I bounce back? Yes, you can. But in a way, because you are high acceptance, you want to change yourself. You want to change everybody. That's why acceptance people are defaulted to. Like you want to really please, not please. Like you want to be that like water to change form going around. So my question for the first one is, I coach hundreds of couple long term. Low acceptance people, hard to change.
So quick follow-up, and I think this is more what I wanted to know is, for high acceptance people, if you don't want to be, if you don't want to use it professionally and you don't want to be a counselor, you can just aim to like manage your acceptance as low as it can possibly go. Like there's no harm in being very low acceptance, basically.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying.
Exactly. Let me say it one more time. There's no harm. Unless your career demand you to be, say you are a fashion designer, you got to have a 2.0 acceptance everywhere you go. Does that make sense? But when you go back home, it's not a lot of harm if you can really manage your acceptance at home to be about 0 - 1. No, I'm serious. It's a good life, folks.
What about like -2? Is that good?
Oh, can I be honest moment? The -2 acceptance people do exist, okay? A lot of them are by training. Some are natural, but by training. So that means they don't even care anyone's approval, okay? But that could be two-way. One is that person is actually very sensitive. So becoming -2 is a hiding place, is a duck out, is an escape from reality. Oftentimes coupled with strong religious belief, strong religious practice, or ideology practice. If that's the case, that's not a good place to be. So we talk about this like, I'm actually sensitive, but my number is low. What does that mean? It's a mentality. It's a wounded, chronically wounded situation. So that's low acceptance, very tough because that you can change either. That's very tough to change either. Okay, so don't be there if you are. So Casey, in your case, don't use any ideology or religious stuff to get to -2 to be in a relationship, because it's not good a place to be. I don't even care what people say. Or someone say, God says so. I'm not very happy with that. Like some people tell me like, I love my husband because God told me so. I'm like, what? So that's the sensitivity is -2. Seriously. Just ignore my feeling, that's not good. Okay, that's not the one I want. But if you can manage to a naturally negative acceptance, that means you are the lower acceptance in relationship. Usually you are the anchor. Usually you are you can act on idea instead of react to stuff. So it's very crucial. So from Dr. Stephen Ray's original study, psychology study from motivation science, he even went as far as saying that if you want to find a leader, you have to find low accepted people to be your leader. I'm not 100% with him. I think I know where he's coming from, but this is where decision making coming from. Like low accepted people usually become the anchor in a family. Okay, so or put this way, a family shouldn't be led by the high acceptance people all the time. You need somebody. So yes, my advice for relationship is try to manage your acceptance at home low. But when I say that, it doesn't mean from time to time your acceptance cannot shoot back to your original state and let everybody have a wonderful afternoon of art exploration somewhere, or sensitivity watching some kind of romantic movie, everybody start crying. All that's fine. Or no, I'm joking, but some sensitivity, you could have that, but that's just icing on the cake. So that's usually the case. So I always say high sensitivity people need to find a job using their sensitivity on daily basis at their work.
Yeah, I think maybe Asians can resonate with this. I think I really struggle with the idea of like -2 acceptance because I was raised with such a high value. You have to be guessing what the other person's thinking, even if they don't say it, and read the atmosphere of the room. Like I know that's a big value in Asian culture, and like sacrificing even if they didn't ask you to. So you have to be like thinking, I guess, a lot about the other person. So part of me is like
in Asian culture, we call it politeness. We call it it's a systematic respect. We always call it a respect for the elder, right? For your parent, respect for your friends. So Chinese, Japanese, Korean is a bit different, but We are very good at it. Even our language is very vague. Japanese the same way, like depending on how you end the sentence, it could be I love you, I don't love you, because I love you, not. So, depending on if you are responding to me positively. Okay. So that's a language, that's a culture, but that culture will create certain type of sensitivity bias in the people, because that could be the whole society look very respectful, but everybody is guessing what other people are thinking.
Yeah.
That's not very healthy, especially when you bring that back to family life. When people get close, if that become a guessing game every day, you know what's going to result? That will result into a trust issue. That means it's hard to trust somebody. And the second one will create a facade. Everybody has a facade. So you go to some of the Asian culture, everybody look happy, look the same smile, but when they go home, you will be shocked at how everybody's life is. So in a way, it's a collective system is
Right. You
is
sacrifice
over the
yourself.
individual. Yes, you have to sacrifice your individuality for the collective good of the whole society. I am not a big fan of this kind of stuff. Okay. Passionaires, folks, if you understand me, I want everybody to be fearlessly you individually. We respect that. We hold that dear to our heart. And then we build togetherness happily. I'll emphasize that, happily and genuinely. That's very crucial, especially when the relationship gets so close, especially family. If a family is like that, it's very, Casey, to a point, can be manipulative and controlling.
Yeah, so I think it's like, for me, there's a stigma with negative acceptance where it's like selfish, because that's just the value system I was raised with. But
yes,
that's why I asked the question. It's good to know, like, you can go as low as you want. It's not a bad thing.
No, you have to go to a point, genuinely you managed, you can bounce back. The point, the acceptance, like all other passion, is like once you manage it, you should be able to satisfy it and then become unassuming. So I could be -2, +2. Like I am negative acceptance, but you guys know when I talk, I sometimes can tune it up to 1 or 2 acceptance for a certain period of time. So become unassuming, so you are able to really adapt, be who you are and be who you are with. So that become very humane, become very sensitive, that become a healthy dose of ability to be sensitive. You see that? You have the ability to be sensitive. That's what the ultimate goal of sensitivity or acceptance is. Like it's become your ability, my ability to know, to dance with high sensitive people, but you can come down to the ground to where you are. You feel comfortable, live happily with your family. That's a crucial test. We can break down into very practical steps, but before you get married, you have to know, you two have to openly talk about this. And the problem is, if you like, that's why, remember I talked to one session, I said, before you shrink down to two in a circle, boy, girlfriend thing, you have to get back a little bit, stretch your tent, start talk to your original friends group to break the mold, to talk something sensitive, to break it. If that group is very highly sensitive group, you have to get back and break it. You have to talk. That's usually will help you be more holy, WHOLLY, holy, walk into the one-on-one situation with your future spouse. It's very crucial, folks. I emphasize it one more time. It's like, so I don't want people just pair up right away. I really want them to step back a year or 8 months to just be themselves. Go back to the, guys go back to the guy's friend, and girls go back to the girlfriends, and just be there, enjoy. That's what the bachelor party is. It's not just celebrating. It's be who you are as a man in a brotherly love. Be a girl in the girly thing, but break that mold. It's very crucial, because sensitivity, if it's not well managed, becomes systematic. It's like a mold that will mold how you react down the road and how you pass this on to your next generation. So that need to be managed. All right. Casey, you have more questions. Look at your
Yeah,
face.
and the last question is, if somebody is like dating someone or just close long-term relationship with someone who is high acceptance to the point where like it takes them a long time to say things, like the partner has to sit there and wait for them before they're comfortable, like they're thinking a lot about what they're saying and stuff. What should the partner do to manage those conversations? Like if it takes like 3 hours to just talk about something simple, how do you shorten or encourage them to like just talk?
All right, so let's give scenario. You date somebody highly sensitive. Now you know. Say you date for 2 years, and that person, it would take that about 3 hours for that person to finally open up after all kind of try non-pressure zone. Every episode have takes 3 hours to untwine, to unwind the intertwined thoughts and all that. If every episode is 3 hours, one thing I know, when you get married, you don't have that 3 hours. In a real marriage, you can't afford that 3 hours. So in my pre-marriage PQ sessions, that's my question. I want to see how you guys fight, how you unwind that intertwined fighting. If you told me this weekly basis, you have a 3 hour fight, or like 2-day fight, don't even know what the reason to fight, or the same reason over again, and then you two will take 3 hours to settle it. If you come to me for pre-marriage PQ workshop, I'm going to ask you a tough question. If you don't have 3 hours in your marriage down the road, what are you going to do? People leave it in the basement psychologically. After 20 years, they have a resentment toward each other. They just live together because maybe they have kids together. They live for kids together. So this couple, if that's the case, if they are not married, if they come to me, I'm going to ask a serious question. You have to assume you don't have this 3 hours to solve it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You have to give me what you want to do. What price are you willing to pay? Because once you get married, no matter what your friend tell you, you don't have that 3 hours per week. No, and no. It's impossible. Okay. So that means you two have to resolve that on a daily basis, and you have to resolve it in a way it's affordable in your marriage. If you are not coming up the pattern after dating for a year, 2, 3 years, you are not coming up with a pattern. So that will be your marriage pattern forever. Not going to change. Are you willing to pay for that? That's my question. So if you are, go get married. I'll help you out. Still help, but that you have to know that's going to come up. So your marriage on a weekly basis, 3 hours to resolve something. If you don't, are you willing to pay for that price? Okay. Casey, you are still thinking. I give you one more chance.
Asking for your friend. It's not a personal example, so I can't really give more details. I'm just like an outsider looking in, so I'm just wondering. Yeah.
Yeah, if they already got married, they have to be very proactively establish non-pressure zone. There must be a discipline agreement. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the high acceptance people need to be painful enough to wake up and say, I got to change. There is a change people can change. There's a chance people can change in marriage, but that usually cannot happen just from the couple alone. So I always say, like, it takes a village to have a healthy couple. That means you almost have to practice vulnerability with other couple. One or two, or we hope to help you guys passionate out there to help that together. Okay, so that, like, we run passion couple workshop, 5, 10 couples sit down, open up their PQs, couple to couple, and in the session is laugh, tear, shout, all dirt get dig up and stuff. But everybody look at, oh wow, we are not the only couple have this problem. It's almost everywhere. So it's very therapeutic. It's very it's bring comfort to people, and you're able to talk to someone else. So for this kind of couple, they really in the first and second year, they got to have almost a monthly or quarterly meet up with another couple or three, sit down, talk about it. So I'm very against like, oh, in a marriage, girl have girl time. Wonderful. But girl time doesn't resolve anything. And guys time doesn't resolve anything. It has to come down to couple, sit down, open up, to practice vulnerability. Ability to be vulnerable oftentimes will help this high sensitivity person in marriage at least have a hope. For them, the most important is like they struggle most, but they don't know how to get out. It's become a pattern. So you almost have to learn, have to be like purposefully learn every quarter minimally or every other month to just touch on this like all over again. So this is very crucial because sensitivity is something that build up over time. Say a guy may build this sensitivity over 15 years of his life so you almost take another 15 years to unwind it. Does that make sense, folks? So you are going to change it in 15 months. So that's why that sensitivity up there, it take a lifetime, say 2 cycles, 7 years, because how he was born, maybe in the teenager year, pre-teens, parents, marriage have some problem. So sensitivity can get bullied. So it built up over 15 years or 14 years. My practice and my coaching experience tell me it takes almost another 15 years to unwind. That's why, if you have somebody you are with and the sensitivity you can no longer deal with, you have to really think what I just said. Are you willing to pay for that price? How long are you willing to pay for it? If not, you have to make some decision soon to resolve this. Yeah, Casey, does that hopefully partially answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So all the people in the marriage or relationship, don't try to change low acceptance people like you don't change high acceptance people. It has to come from that person. But in reality, it's easier for high acceptance people to realize like, I want to change rather than the low acceptance people. So that's just not fair. But I have to tell you, relationship is not asking for fairness. It's asking how we can build something together happily. Let me try that one more time. In a relationship, it's never about fair. It's never, because you two are unique human beings. How can that be fair? You two are so unique. You can't. Between this snowflake and that snowflake, there's no fairness to compare. The only thing is, shall this snowflake come together and melt into one? And so each has to sacrifice something. So there's never fair, like, 50-50. No. But in acceptance, it's really a big thing for all of you to think about. Okay, now.
Well, Coach K, to be fair, I think you did say things that low acceptance people can do, like helping the high acceptance person manage. I think Henry also, it's clear from Henry's relationship as well that he was saying he's learned how to work with his wife. So I don't feel like you're saying the low acceptance person doesn't have to do anything, but in terms of changing themselves, I guess the high acceptance person has more potential.
Yeah, more potential. Absolutely. So high acceptance person in marriage and relationship, you hold the key. If you realize that's where you want to go, you will dramatically change your relationship starting from day one and see that happen, because that's where you hold the key as a high sensitivity people. Because the low sensitivity people, they have no clue, folks. They have no clue what goes wrong. Did I annoy you? I don't even know. Why are you so sad? So they need help. Okay. So if you're high sensitive people, that's on you. You got the key. All right.
Coach K, we have someone on YouTube asked a question.
Okay.
It says, what is a practical way to manage your sensitivity meter when you work at home? How does a person transition?
Yeah, this is a very good question. That's why in the pandemic, everybody work at home. One of the most interrupt acceptance, passion is acceptance. This one is so difficult to have it work from home. In a workplace, you can hide, you can, duck out, you can, disappear in the crowd. But in a home, it's so up to your face. It's very, very, very good. Very, very good question. Now, so if you work from home, it's usually not very healthy for high acceptance people. Let me repeat that one more time. High acceptance person, please try not to work from home. It's bad setting. Let's call it temptation for your acceptance to get screwed. Okay, so accepting people, I usually recommend minimally you have to, if you work at home, you must find a co-working space or find a coffee shop somewhere. You have to schedule your weekly day or daily work so you cannot be home all the time. And because you know what, number one, at home, if you don't see anybody, your acceptance will come from very weird channel like Instagram. It will come from very strange, even just a bird chirping too much outside, it will get stirred up, or your neighbors. So high acceptance people, my recommendation is don't work from home. If you do, you have to come up with a discipline to get you out into the society. Not try to make connection, just see people as healthy enough. Okay. So very crucial. You have to have your Friday night out somehow. Don't stay home. That's usually will become a snowball effect for you to become highly sensitive, because high sensitive people usually go into a mode like thinking about themselves, thinking about future, and it will be a snowball effect in their mind. It will grow so big they cannot get out. So please, especially if highly sensitive teenagers, they need to go out to find the work, go out to volunteer somewhere. They have to hang out with people. It's very crucial because you will see, it's actually working. They don't have to be, they just have to like work in a coffee shop or just sit in a coffee shop typing up something. It will be very helpful, but it has to be a routine. I have to pull yourself from the work from home scenario. For low extent people, so that's why I counsel some of the company for their employee. Low extent people usually are better, more efficient working from home. For high extent people, usually not just social acceptance is a dominant factor. So but so just give it a couple of hints how to work from home and high sensitivity. And also if you are home, high sensitivity people, you have to cut down your social media consumption, because that will just come up because your meter is looking for confirmation. Work from home don't give you that, so you were like looking for that. So be very careful, because that will give you crazy idea. Oh, my friend is doing this job, I should change my job. That's why be very careful how you consume social media at home in the name of working from home. All right, okay, very good. Anything else? If
they ask a follow-up question, I'll just let you know. They haven't yet.
Okay. Yeah. So so we are close to the end of it. Acceptance is it's a wonderful passion, folks. I grew up as a very sensitive boy. Seriously, I couldn't talk until I was 4 years old because I was sensitive about people's approval. My dad and my mom, I'm afraid when I say something, one of them might not be happy. So I just choose not to say. I was quiet. But then, I grew up to be very sensitive guy, and until I'm age 14 or 12. So of course, this is a Christian experience where it totally transformed me. I feel accepted by Jesus and his love. And for you are not Christian there, I just give you my personal journey. And at the age of 13, I was filled with Holy Spirit. So and that experience is more than just religious experience. I feel the story I know about God now become real because all my acceptance is fulfilled unconditionally. I cannot explain how that feel to you. So, and I jump up from that experience. I love to play piano. I express myself playing piano all my life right now. So I find a way not just to receive the acceptance, but to express. So it's very crucial for you to express your sensitivity. You know, you can find beauty, that means art, music, you listen to the music. It could be an exercise that you do to express, dance group or stuff. It could be food. You can express your sensitivity through your food, cooking and stuff. You can express your sensitivity through idealism, which help people and just be with on their level. You can express your sensitivity through curiosity. You'll be shocked how you can do that, learning new thing every season. And you can express your sensitivity toward using vengeance, like finding practice law, or just, you know, be a mathematician, be a data scientist. You can really. So yesterday, I coached a Chinese girl. She's 39. Toward the end, we just say, hey, you could turn your data science knowledge to make data vital and warm, have a feeling. Oh, she was so excited. And so, you know what I mean? With sensitivity, you can turn a lot of things become more, have a temperature, have a warmth of embrace in there. So if you throw a dose of sensitivity on top of other passions, that's usually the best approach to it, because your politics will feel there's some warmth to it, and your math, there's some warmth to it, right? Your knowledge with some, not just a cold fact. So I would very recommend highly sensitive people. It's not your emotion. Let me emphasize one more time. Sensitivity doesn't have to be expressed only through emotion. All right. Your sensitivity, you have to learn how to express it in addition to emotion. That on every other 15 passions, if you've never done a passion, we'll talk about it down the road. So make everything you do have that touch, the icing on the cake, that warmth of embrace of who you are inside. And you could be a doctor with that, with sensitivity, and your practice of medicine will be just that much difference. So that's a practice we need. You can turn everything, putting that sensitivity into it and channel that sensitivity. Please don't channel it through your emotion. Don't channel it through just express I. You can speak about 40 minutes. I did this, I did that. If the listener didn't want to, say, yeah, and you feel so hurt, please get out of that lifestyle, okay? So you don't have to talk about you, talk about I. You're able to just talk about we, talk about that togetherness, talk about that, yeah, we are together. We are maybe unique and different, but my sensitivity is well managed. So you will feel that warmth or embrace from me. That's what you need. That's what I need. That's what this society needs. Okay, so that's why I say I love you guys, highly sensitive people. I have my relative, my family, some that are super high. I'm like, oh, but I love them. I know their intention, but when their sensitivity is being managed, oh, that just make this togetherness so much more fun, so much more, another layer of uniqueness, another layer of human interaction that's in there. So I love it. So if you're a highly sensitive mom and dad, highly sensitive boy and girlfriend, say, highly sensitive employer, hey, why don't you channel that? Not just on emotion, manage it. Emotion maybe 10%, but channel 90% into something that you would love to do and do it very well for life. All right. So I don't think we have more questions, do we? All right. This is toward the end of today. Every Thursday night for now, we are trying. Still, it's a pilot round. So if you are coming on Thursday night, you don't have a PQ, we're going to bless you with a free PQ. You'll take this test. It's not a test, just to benchmark your motivation against the global data. And I'll get that data in my hand. And you can come up, ask any question, career, relationship, anything. And then we will not call it coaching time, but we'll call it, can I be honest time? Let me be me. I'll speak very honest. And that's what I hold to my heart, very dear to my heart. Hopefully I can speak honestly to you. So thank you for coming tonight. If you have any friends or a couple, you can get them on. It's very, I love it's entertaining because everybody is so unique. Every couple is double unique, okay? So yeah, we're going to just finish up tonight. Passionaire, hey, sensitive or not, I want all of us to develop ability to be sensitive, to have that sensibility. All right, good night.